What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about SoFi. I want to break it down on what the hell is happening, over some of the data points and everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So right now it is down 4.95%, roughly 15 minutes left in the trading day. But looking at the volume, 53.5 million shares have been traded so far. 55 is the average. So that is somewhat of a good thing. It goes to show that big money is looking at SoFi. So these are some of the transactions that have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks, at least SoFi is getting somewhat more attention. And I think that has to do more so with the technicals, because the technicals were pointing for it to go down to around 717, but it did break that. So it is somewhat oversold, even more so in comparison to a lot of other growth stocks. But despite that though, a lot of the market is just selling off because of today's PPI and also retail sales numbers. So overall, just a ton of fear in the market. For SoFi though, there has been no news today. As far as SEC filings, absolutely nothing. So it's just been relatively quiet on that front. So it's just been largely the technicals, one of the driving factors with SoFi. And as I've been saying over the last couple of videos, I've been kind of pointing that SoFi is due to pull down. And based on the Elliott wave technicals, it is pointing to kind of lower, scary lows in fact. So I think there's more of a broader fear and more broader pullback anticipated, but at least in the short term, 717 was going to be a very strong support level, and so far it did break that. Looking at some data points though, shorts surprisingly aren't doing all that much. They're increasing 947,000 shares. Comparing that to a lot of other similar growth stocks in the fintech sector, like that's kind of relatively safe, if that makes sense. But 18.82% of the free float is being shorted, which works out to be 171.81 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost to borrow average is 1.39%. And of course, today of all days, you do see some signs of manipulation once again. Cost to borrow minimum being negative 0.01%, meaning there is a broker out there physically paying people to short SoFi. Even though it's not all that much, still not the best information to kind of look at. Looking at options, I'll just quickly refresh that. So right now, $6.3 million in puts being purchased versus 11 million in calls. Sentiment wise, very much evenly divided, so kind of 50-50, but probably a lot of the call options that are being purchased today are just shorts hedging their bets. Of the call options that are being purchased, there's a consensus for it to be above roughly 750, and then looking at puts, it is anticipated to be sub roughly about $7. So the risk versus reward definitely does signal that today is somewhat of an overreaction. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. You guys do your own due diligence at the end of the day. So like I said, I kind of brought up all this. So these are the transactions on the secondary market, whereas these are some of the transactions that have occurred on the dark pool. So a lot more transactions. So this is where a lot of shorts are hiding a lot of their kind of deals. 1.58 million, 1.3. There's a ton of transactions, and this has been something I've been bringing up. Typically on an average day, there's more than 250 transactions on the dark pool. So very, very active. And like I kind of signaled leading into today, the technicals have been kind of pointing towards it going down. So right now with it breaking that 717 mark, some points to watch for is $6.81. So that's going to be the next strong support, and then vice versa, $7.47. So even beside the point, I'll give you a quick overview of this. So the Elliott wave technicals, so a lot of people really do like that. It has a pivot point of $8.77. So for as long as SoFi is trading below that, then it is anticipated to get to roughly the low to mid fives, which is absolutely crazy if you ask me. And hopefully if it does actually trend to those levels, this is where you'd see Anthony actually be buying some shares, because it's been a while since he's actually done that, but because that does really rally and kind of increase the sentiment quite significantly. Even myself, I did do a video on when I would be buying next, and it would be probably around the 620 to 650 mark, as I kind of previously stated. But I think all in all, just the broader market is kind of in panic mode, because almost every stock for no reason has been going up. Cryptocurrency has been going up, so people's appetite for risk has been through the roof. too much so. And so I think this is kind of a byproduct of all of that. Whether today's more of an overreaction, some of the data is kind of signaling that, some isn't. So we'll just have to wait and see what does actually come from all of that. But right now, looking on the actual chart, it is lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. And looking here, stochastic, you do see it at 10. So that is considered oversold. So if there's a good piece of news, or potentially Anthony does come out and actually buys some shares, this is where you'd see a nice kind of bump up in the stock price as a byproduct. But no matter what though, you do see a bearish deviation, so red line above the white. So all in all, not necessarily the best. And plus, it looks like retail has been getting out over the last little bit, ever since the 27th. I didn't really catch the memo or get the memo. I did sell out at around $7.89. So that's where I kind of sold my position right here, because the technicals, with it failing to kind of break above that, were really going to pull down and cause it to go down. I didn't anticipate this level this fast, but still, regardless, kind of the technicals were pointing to these levels. So all in all, it really does suck given SoFi's phenomenal earnings. It's had so much manipulation for a very long time, and it's very apparent, like I said, through a lot of the transactions on the dark pool and just a lot of these kind of minor things about cost to borrow minimum and just institutions not really buying it. It does suck overall. So let me know your thoughts on SoFi. Give yourself a shout out. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? And where do you see SoFi going as far as a low? Or do you think that, for instance, today is going to be the low and it's going to be trending up from here? What's your thoughts? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with all that, appreciate all of you watching.